All right, it just finished raining. I'm at a mile, 0.5 right now. Got another half mile, complete my 10 miles. So now I shared some positive, beautiful, loving messages this morning. Now I'm gonna share some interesting questions. Some, of course, will stir some controversial thoughts, some offensiveness, of course. So if you are offended, are angry at me, or angry at the things that I say from here on out, know full well that this message is not for you. Here's a guy smoking some weed in his garage. Sometimes it feels better just to numb ourselves. My purpose, my mission is to continue exposing myself to the sunlight, to the love, the nourishment, and to turn away from that which closes that off. And it sounds like spiritual mumbo jumbo. Anyway, here are some questions to think about. Did the United States or an organization within declare war on the United States citizens, the Americans, and possibly the world, the individuals? Why do I ask this question? Well, it was confirmed that there was a location where the current outbreak of quote-unquote illness was being modified, created, whatever word you want to use, gain of function, bioweapon manufacturer. That was already understood and agreed on. And what else was he doing in the Wuhan lab? He wasn't trying to cure anything or help anybody. It was creating a weapon. Next, it wasn't leaked. Everything is contrary to that. There's no proof of leak. If anything, there's more evidence of intentional release. Just follow the chronological order of events. In addition to that, besides that release, travel and everything else was encouraged, quite so, by a certain political party, where the other side, where there's one person making some decisions and speaking out kind of abrasively, was trying to close transportation and travel from that area. Period. As far as the organization goes of the group, I didn't come to more recently realize that the United States, or at least a certain group related to the Bill Gates family and the foundation, is responsible for the murder of 60 million Americans, if not more. This, of course, I was once quote-unquote pro-choice. It's not really pro-choice when you're taking the life of someone who does not have the capacity or the ability to consent or not consent. That is murder by every definition. And by science, even the science will tell you that's another organism, another biological human being, as with every animal, every creature. So you have to at least accept that. You can look up the works of Margaret Sanger. You can look up her own quotations, her own quotes regarding eugenics, her opinion of black people and indigenous people and so forth. It was eradication, genocide. You can see that with hormone blockers, birth control, and other things. When exists an innate system called the, right now they call it Billings method, natural family planning. There's a good book, Taking Charge of Your Fertility, by Tony Welcher. There's a lot of good literature on the subject regarding learning one's fluids, their temperature, the states of being, and so forth. Look that up. Whether you're for it or against it, at least take the time to learn about yourself and of your partner and of life, period. On top of that, we might want to look into the history of the United States Department of Agriculture, Centers for Disease Control, the Federal Drug Administration, and a lot of these organizations. A big one was the USDA guidelines for nutrition. This is promoted still in different parts of the world. Maybe not in the United States, because they were sued and lost to the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. The information on this information chart leads to heart disease, cancer, diabetes, a lot of preventable illnesses. So generally, cancer, heart disease, diabetes are accounted for 800,000 American deaths a year. Give and take. Look that up. Research it yourself. Don't believe anything I say. What's not listed is medical therapies, medical drugs, properly prescribed, and also taken not properly prescribed. And you'll find out that that also accounts for a great deal of Americans being murdered from preventable, mostly reversible cases. So I looked up the information yesterday, and for years actually I've been looking it up trying to find it. American citizens, from what I read, cannot declare war. It has to be an act of Congress. So what happens when an organization within, infiltrated, whatever you want to call it, has already committed acts of violence, acts of atrocities? What must we do? Some people, take care of themselves like me and travel, help people restore their health, which is fine. There are people that protest, which is okay. But just realize that if we're going to commit an action, lock arms, learn, protect, encourage, enable, don't disable. We rally up these marches and these protests. We're putting people's lives, livelihoods, their families in danger. And the best way to do that is to be effective. When I protested here in Hawaii, I still have a service that protects me. So when I was confronted in a confrontational manner, almost physical violence, and the police were there not stopping anything, not doing anything, just observing, I was able to immediately press on my phone, emergency number, contacted my attorney. I handed over the phone from my attorney to the police officer there. My attorney spoke to the police officer. Next thing I know, the police officer pulled the person out of his line, put him in handcuffs, and proceeded to start filing orders against him based on my direction and the direction of my attorney. So if we're going to do protests and marches, then we need to do it more structured, organized, with fail-safes in place, effectively, rightfully, lawfully, as best as we can, obviously. But we have to take some initiatives. And if you want to lock arms and learn and contribute, enable, you're welcome to send me a direct message. But if you just want to talk, act angry, act upset, and be futile, I kind of appreciate it, but I don't really need it. It just makes people angry, upset, depressed, feel furious, depressed, really. So let's do something. Let's look at this challenge as an opportunity to come together. I love you all. Take care.